A warm welcome to Disky Talk with Luyolo. On this week's episode, we discuss the controversial ongoing court case, which has finally come to a close. So the verdict is that Sekhukhune United will be contesting in the Dstv Premiership next season, and Royal AM will be playing in the promotional playoffs along with Chippa United and Richards Bay United. I'd like to introduce my guest. He goes by the name of Javas to all of us, but to his mother, he's Jabulo. How are you, bro?
I'm good, my brother. How are you?
I'm good. So let's kick it off. Let's speak about. We'll start with Black Leopards, as we do know that they are the relegated team. They will be going to contest in the GladAfrica Championship next season. What do you make of the season they had, and where do you think they struggled with regards to staying afloat within the Dstv Premiership this season?
Last season, they found themselves in the same situation, but even better, they were playing the playoffs, So, when such things happen, you should learn from your mistakes, You should rebuild. They lost crucial players like Matlaba, So, I didn't see them. They were not as busy on the transfer market. Also, the chopping and changing of coaches. You didn't know, with Limpopo teams, you don't know what's going on. But, one moment this coach is there, especially with Dylan Kerr. You saw one moment he's there, he's gone, then he's back. You don't understand what's going on. So, with me, they should have just stuck with one coach and then, these things unfold, as time, So I think they didn't rebuild their team, They didn't, break the bank, Baroka, they were in the same situation, but, in a similar situation. But we can look how they now, they learned from their mistakes, and they brought in some experience and a bit of balance with youth, Baroka's always chopping and changing. So I think, it worked for them. So they didn't rebuild.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with you on that one. And if you look at it, you also have to consider the fact that with a lot of the players within the squad, they never have high-profile players who have experience within Dstv Premiership. A lot of the players they get are players who are maybe beyond their prime. You mentioned Thabo Matlaba earlier on. He played for them in the seasons gone by. However, they were not able then to go out and get quality which is experienced, And also you have to consider the fact that a lot of the players they get from the lower divisions. So you're looking at your GladAfrica Championship, you're looking at your ABC Mutsipe, and you're looking at your SAB Castle League. And a lot of those players are also not thoroughly developed. So whenever they do get to the Dstv Premiership, they tend to struggle with the physicality, with the level and the technical ability with regards to how the game is contested at the highest level. So I think when it comes to recruitment, Black Leopards have been poor in that department for the past couple of seasons. And I think that's why they tend to struggle. And they always find themselves in the relegation zone, and it's become something which I don't think is healthy. I don't think that you can run a football club on such a shaky foundation, because then we start to see it coming to the fore. They start going back, and it becomes problematic. You don't want to become a yo-yo club, and a yo-yo club is a club that gets relegated, gets promoted, gets relegated, gets promoted. You cannot build anything tangible.
For 15 years, we've been singing the same tune for 15 years.
It's been too long. I think I respect Mr. Tidiela, I really do. I think Mr. Tidiela has to look at the recruitment policy. He has to change his approach. And I also think that going forward, he has to restructure the club. I think that he has to go out and find a technical team that he can work with on a long-term basis, so that we don't see the chopping and changing of coaches. Because when it comes to coaching, coaches unfortunately, in this country, coaches don't really get the time. They're not afforded the fortitude to build and to grow with their squad. So as if you get 5 or 6 games and then that's it. If you don't prove your point, you're out. And which is bad. And moving on to a club that gives you 4 or 5 games, Chippa United. They will be contesting in the promotional playoffs. What do you make of Chippa United season?
I think it was dismal for me. I mean, for the past 5 seasons, we've known Chippa United to play a quality brand of football. Carpet football, I mean, Peter will tell you himself, it was never easy going to East London. It was never easy. So, for them to find themselves in such a situation, they would want to do their best and win. I believe right now they're in training week in, week out, preparing, because, those teams in the GladAfrica Championship, they are hungry. So that same hunger, you need to apply it. And according to how they run their club, for me, it's very unprofessional. It's very unprofessional because you don't even know, like, I'm gonna live here for the next week or so. I just paid my rent for the next month and then you out. So I mean, it's very unprofessional coming from the owner Umpenyisi. I think he's very arrogant and it's his final word. That's it. Nobody questions him. I don't know. Maybe they're afraid of the same situation will happen. But they should include more members on the board, like admin. The same thing we said about Safa.
From an administrative perspective, I definitely do think that Chippa United have to broaden up from that perspective because
they're a big club.
They're a big club, and also you need a board which will be able to advise on certain things. And Mr. Mpengesi, to me, just looks like he calls the shots. That's it. It's almost as if there's nobody to run these ideas. There's no one to run these ideas by. It's almost as if I wake up tomorrow, this coach, he's gone. As opposed to when you've got a broader technical team and a broader board of directors at the club, then you're able to sit down and say, okay, I don't like what's currently happening. What do we do? Is the first point of call to sack this coach? Maybe then one of the experienced directors will say, no, let's give him another 3 games. Consider this, that, and the third as the reasons why maybe the team is struggling right now. But within the next 3 games, we might see a change of approach. We might see a change of attitude. So I definitely do think that something has to change with Mpengesi when it comes to how he runs the club. Because Chippa United, like you had mentioned, there were times and spells where they played really good football. There were spells and times where they had really good football players. So we want to see Chippa United in the DStv Premiership, yes. However, not if the club is going to be run like this, and not if they're going to conduct their business like this, then they deserve to get relegated, in my own opinion. However, if they're going to run the club in an adequate manner, then yes, they can stay up. Another thing that I wanted to bring up as an unpopular opinion is that I think that the DStv Premiership should have 2 automatic relegation spots. So 16th and 15th get relegated automatically, as opposed to having a relegation playoffs. I will accept the playoffs at the GladAfrica Championship. I'll accept that. Number 1 gets automatic promotion. Then you could have a playoff between number 2 and number 3. That I could accept. I can accept that. However, I just think that we have to do away with the relegation playoffs because I feel as if Chippa United, they had their 30 games just like everybody else. They had their chance. So now they get a lifeline. And in often cases, when it comes to the playoffs, it's always the PSL team that's able to regain the PSL status. And I think to make it a lot more competitive, we have to see 2 new teams in the PSL season in, season out. That's just my own opinion, that we have to see 2 new teams coming from GladAfrica, season in, season out. What is your take on that?
It's a very good structure for me, I'd also like to add on that. I feel like now, the National Soccer League, they should have a meeting. Now it's 2021, obviously, football in South Africa has grown so much. Sponsorships are on board, the grant money is getting more. As you see, players are not moving abroad as usual, before, because the money is good. I mean, when the money is good, you're home. What more do you want? You understand? So, I mean, for me, I would say they should add an additional 4 teams. And instead of the 16 teams, now we can make it 20 teams, both in the GladAfrica Championship and also in the PSL. Because every now and then, every year, people are forming new teams, and we don't know, this thing of status buying and all of that, more teams should have a chance, and, it's good for football.
Yeah.
It's good for football. We can spot more talent. It's good for the cities. I mean, we have enough stadiums in this country.
Yeah.
We have enough stadiums. And, some stadiums are not being utilized. I mean, if it wasn't for TS Galaxy, when were you going to see the likes of Bombela Stadium being used? Such a great, phenomenal, world-class stadium. You understand? So I think, we should grow.
Yeah, I definitely do think so. And I like the fact that you touched on buying status. We'll get to the climax of this episode in a bit. However, I just want us to look at this whole phenomenon of buying statuses. It's become quite a trend in in this country, in the Dstv Premiership, within the past couple of seasons. Every season there's a new team that gets bought.
Yeah.
What is your take on that? Do you think that they should? Do you think that the laws should be made a lot stricter around procuring a professional football club at the highest level, or do you think that as long as you've got the money, it's fine? Well, what's your take on the buying of statuses in the PSL that has been occurring in the past couple of seasons?
It's unfair to say that, because if I have the money, then I can change I can buy Kazam Daung out and change it to Java's Chiefs. You understand? And, we are now killing the tradition, the grassroots. The foundation.
Yeah.
So to me, there should be. It goes down again to the court of law. There should be rules and regulations formed, new rules now.
Yeah.
You understand? And, to see such great teams with history like Bidvest, being destroyed within a second,
Yeah.
Teams who have got quality academies, who've produced quality footballers who play abroad right now.
Yeah.
You understand? Such a good system, I mean. You ask yourself, where must those players go now? You understand?
Yeah.
So, for me, it's unfair, and I'm not for it. I mean, we should learn from overseas. You don't see Barcelona being changed now, and the whole, the only thing that changes should be the ownership.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
But the name should still be there. The kit,
Yeah.
Everything. You can't change the whole brand. Like it's so,
it's just an account, or
yeah.
I don't know. It's like it's a Twitter account.
It's like a Twitter account.
You just change the handle and then you put up a new profile picture. I definitely agree with you.
Yeah.
I think the laws definitely have to be stricter, because then another thing that you avoid the situation of TTM, and you don't want a case where, okay, here's a man, he goes by the name of Absalom. Absalom comes along, and Absalom buys ABC United, for argument's sake, right? He buys ABC United. Absalom changes now ABC United, that has been there in the PSL for the past 50 years, that has maybe won 3 PSL trophies, that is rich in history. He changes it. So he changes ABC United, he changes it to DEF United. When it's DEF United, within the first 3 months, he's struggling to pay the players. That is very bad. That's not what we want to see in our football fraternity, because then it doesn't grow. It really doesn't grow. However, let's move on to the talking point. The controversy. The court case which was ongoing, and it was very interesting to see who would win, Royal AM, Sekhukhune United. Who would be the winners of the GladAfrica Championship for this past season. That was very interesting for me, because on the last day, both teams were celebrating as if they'd won.
Yeah.
And another team went on to even buy medals, which...
Funny, yeah.
Which is very interesting, because I don't think you'd ever see that in Europe, in European football, and it's sad that football has to be decided in the courtroom. However, what's your take on how the court case played out, and how do you feel about Sekhukhune United going on to become the eventual winners, who will play in the Dstv Premiership next season, and then Royal AM having to contest in the playoffs?
It's very shady and dodgy, how this unfolded, and such information came about right towards, I think, 5 or 3 games left. You understand that, okay, Polokwane City fielded a player, and such information, like, we should make sure that everything is professional, and the players, the refs should check. The
officials,
everything, be so to avoid such situations, because now I believe that most of football lovers were expecting Royal AM to be participating, of course, in the Dstv Premiership, because of they've been there for a while. And another thing you have to look at, they've invested great money in the club. So if we look at it in a fairness play, they deserve it more. You understand? They've been patient. I mean, we know the owner, Umamkize, she has the money, but you don't see her going to go buy a status of another club,
I love that you mentioned that, and that they worked for it in the GladAfrica Championship, as opposed to them buying a status within the PSL. And I love that you mentioned that, and Uchemen as well.
Chairman, obviously, we would like to see that, So, I mean, like, that, how that unfolded is just not, it's not nice, because look at, the chairman of Black Leopards also.
Yeah, TDL.
He's also a very traditional businessman, He'll rather wait his turn, and which he always gets, I wouldn't be surprised if they come back again, whether it's in the first season or not. But we know that it's very tough down there in the GladAfrica. We've seen quality teams. Swallows once upon a time went down. Ajax Cape Town. Santos. Quality teams who were there when it was still 20 teams. So what can we say? It's football, and and the law states you can't question the law.
At the end of the day, I'm going to say congratulations to Sekhukhune United, who will be contesting in the Dstv Premiership, and all the best to Royal AM. I'm rooting for them. Personally, I'd love to see Royal AM in the Dstv Premiership. And I say this because the investment they've made into the club and the financial muscle that Umamkize and Chairman have is that it will give us another team that will actually be able to compete in the Dstv Premiership, where they can actually lure in good players and pay them good salaries, And we all know that part of football has become business, and the more money you have, the better for you. So I think a Royal AM would increase the level of competition within the Dstv Premiership, because I think they'd be able to attract very good players, and I think that we'd have another team that would be able to push the envelope. Already you have Swallows, who did really well. You have Golden Arrows. You have Amazulu. I think Royal AM would more or less join those those 4 teams. There would be those 4 or 5 teams that, yes, we know they might not win the league, but they are really pushing the other teams. They're really contesting and they're fighting within top 8. So I personally would love to see them in the DStv Premiership next season. However, before we round off this episode, I'd like to get your predictions when it comes to the playoffs. Do you see Chippa United retaining their PSL status, or will we see Mamkhize and the boys getting that highly anticipated promotion, or will it be Richards Bay? What is your take on that?
For me, I think Chippa United have obviously on paper the advantage upper hand, and I say this because the experience that they pose. I believe they've been in this situation before, so mentally it's nothing new to them. But this is new for both Richards Bay and Royal AM. They are both new teams. Previously known as Thunder Royal Zulu and as well as Royal Eagles. But we shouldn't rule out the teams from the GladAfrica Championship because the hunger as well. But why I say Chippa will retain their status is because Royal AM, when I look at their season overall, it was not it was not dominating. Like Man City, where they just, they became number one only March.
Towards the end of the season.
Towards the end. So, it's the same thing with Richards Bay, you can't be number one throughout most of the season and then the last 5 games now you're slipping, because I thought they had it in the bag because they play quality football. We saw them against Kaizer Chiefs in the Nedbank Cup, you understand? So it's a similar story to Leicester City. I mean, you can't blame it's football. It's a league, So
and I'm glad that you brought up that point, because when you consider the fact that the point of Royal AM, when you look at their season, if they had won the games that they were supposed to win and didn't drop points at the crucial moment, even with Sekhukhune United getting granted those 3 points, it would have not made a difference because they would have had enough points, But now it becomes a problem because they drop points during the season that they were not supposed to drop. So it does make it very, very, very difficult. However, I'm going to have to go the other way with you. And I'm going to say that Royal AM will get that promotion. I think they'll do well in the playoffs. And I think so because they're so close. It's there. It's so close. And also that squad has quite a few experienced players. Players who have plied their trade in the PSL before. So they will be wanting to return. And I just think that Royal AM will get into the DStv Premiership for next season. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of a special episode of Diski Talk with Luyolo. I had Javas, who goes by the name of Jabulo to his mother, but he's Javas to us. I had him on this episode, and I thoroughly enjoyed breaking down this one because there was a lot of controversy surrounding Sekhukhune United and Royal AM as to who would advance to the DStv Premiership on the automatic promotion and who would go to the playoff. Now that we finally know, it's all things go as Royal AM have all to do in the playoffs, and a warm welcome to Sekhukhune United into the DStv Premiership. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. Signing out.